channel SwissRC, and today I'm going to review the EzUHF JR module to fit the Taranis or the 9XR, or basically every radio which has such a JR module bay on the back. So let's take a look at which type of connectors you can find on top of the EzUHF JR module. We're going to start at the bottom. You can see there's a USB port. I think it's a mini USB. You have an auxiliary control port, a head tracking port, a failsafe or bind button, and finally the power switch. You can switch from high power in the top position, which is about 500 milliwatts, to low power, which is about 200 milliwatts. Then we have an SMA antenna connector on top right here. And we have 5 holes for the 5 pins of your JR module bay, which should be on your transmitter. And over these 5 pins there's gonna be power and signal to this module, so you don't have any cables around the outside of your transmitter, which is gonna make the whole setup a lot cleaner. So the first step you're gonna have to do when you get your EzUHF module to make it work is gonna be update the firmware both on the module and on the receiver. So grab yourself a USB to micro USB cable for the EzUHF module and a USB to mini USB for at least this receiver right here, the 4-channel Lite edition. To get the firmware as well as the firmware installer, just go to the ImmersionRC.com website, go to products, and then the EzUHF JR module or your receiver, depending on which one you're going to do first. First I'm going to do the EzUHF JR module. So then go to firmware and downloads, scroll down a little bit, then you're going to find firmware, take the latest version 1.50, and click on this zip icon right there to download it. Like that. Now we have it in our downloads. Zip file, just right click, unzip to another folder right here, and we're gonna have the tools and all the firmwares for every single product they have. So we're just gonna launch the tools or the installer. Because I already have it installed, I'm just gonna click repair, so it doesn't change anything. You're just gonna click install, like that. Now I'm gonna search for my tools. Here they are. Here we have our tools. Now we're gonna plug our EzUHF module in, but first we're gonna hit high power mode, then click and hold the failsafe or bind button, and then while holding the bind button we're gonna plug the USB cable in, like that. Now it's gonna install some drivers, but the drivers won't work, so we're just gonna go to EzUHF TX. You can see, you can read 500 milliwatts, 2 watts, or the JR module, so this one is the right one. Go here, click refresh, then go to program, EzUHF 500 milliwatt TX detected in program mode, hit preserve configuration, and then click update the firmware. Now we're gonna have to search our firmware, which is in the downloads inside this folder, and we're gonna take EzUHF firmware TX500. Sorry, TX JR module. If you're in the UK, there's a different version with different frequencies, I think, but I'm just gonna take the normal one. And so now it is writing the new firmware onto the transmitter. Shouldn't take too long. As you can read and hear, it's successfully updated the firmware. So now we're going to do the exact same thing with our EzUHF receiver. After you have ensured that both the transmitting module and the receiver are running the exact same firmware and the exact same hopping frequency and stuff like that, you're gonna have to bind them together. So to do that, I'm gonna plug the EzUHF module into my Turnigy 9XR just to show you. Then I'm just gonna turn my 9XR on to select a new model. So that I don't mess up anything. Then I'm gonna check the mixer. Yes, I have the 4 channels, so then I'm gonna test, and I can test it. Then get your receiver, a 6 volt or 4.8 volt battery. I have a 6 volt right here, and a servo to test it. So what we're gonna do, flick the EzUHF JR module into low power mode, hold the failsafe or bind button, and then turn it on. And we're gonna hear a periodic beeping like that, and you can let the button go. Now we're gonna power up our EzUHF receiver, and then within 10 seconds after powering it up, we're gonna push the bind button on the bottom right here. And now it should actually flash 3 times. That looks good. Now we're going to turn both of those systems down. You can do it in high power mode now. Switch it back on. Power the receiver. And then plug in your servo to test if it's working. So, as you can see, I have the servo on my throttle channel, and you can probably only hear it because I don't have a servo arm on. They are now bound together. Remember one other important thing: you have to do the whole binding process inside of like 1 meter from the receiver to the transmitter, and also make sure that you have both antennas facing the same direction, so you don't have any polarization issues. Before I showed you the binding process on the Turnigy 9XR, and the reason why I did it on the 9XR is that I didn't have to change any settings on the model, because on a Taranis you can either have the internal RF module send out 2.4 GHz over this antenna, or you can have an external module like this one. So what we're gonna have to do to make the EzUHF module work, we're gonna power it on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Then we're gonna go into the menu, select your model, click 1 page further, so page 2 of 13. Then I'm gonna click minus to get plus to get to the bottom. Then scroll up a little bit to the point where you see internal RF mode. And we're gonna hit enter and minus so it's off, like that. Enter again. Then I'm gonna go 1 step down, external RF module. We're gonna hit enter and then go into PPM mode. As you could hear, the EzUHF module just turned on. So that's that. Now I'm gonna test if this works as well. Should actually. As you can see, the servo is moving again. So just shortly after the JR module came out, I've heard a lot of people complaining about it because they get fail-safes within range of about 400 meters, which would be really bad if it was true, but in my experience this didn't happen at all. The most extreme complaints I heard were like the people were in high power mode with both the antennas on and as I said, they lost their link after about 400 meters. So what I did, I plugged the JR module into my 9XR, took the 4-channel light receiver, put it on my QAV 400, but I removed the antenna and just plugged in one pin for the PPM. So with the NASU you can run it off one channel. So I mounted the receiver like this, and I always held the antenna like that. And here you can see some FPV footage of what I did. First I was just hovering like 1 or 2 meters in front of me to check out if I could even control it. And then I went a little bit further, and the maximum range I got out was about 70 meters, and at 70 meters I had like 2 short outtakes. So, as a conclusion, I'm gonna tell you that this EzUHF JR module is a real great thing, because it is also an upgrade over the old but gold EzUHF transmitter box, which was about twice as wide. What they did very well on this one, it is half the price than your original one. It is a lot smaller, it is a lot more convenient. It makes a cleaner setup because you have no wires around it, and all in all I think it's gonna give you the same performance as the old one. What I would recommend to do is that you get a new antenna. Team Black Sheep, for example, sells this one. It's called the SRH771 or something like that, diamond antenna. It is a little bit longer, but it gives you a lot better performance. So to wrap this video up, I'm gonna thank ImmersionRC for making this video possible by sending me the JR module as well as one receiver. So thanks for that. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and see you next time.